This is the Life Regenerator, and I thank you for joining me today. I've got my #1 favorite smoothie of all time. Can I put that together for you? I think you're going to love it. Okay, what do? You know me, I take my coconuts. If you don't have access to coconuts, try and find them. They're a really cool part of the raw food diet, but I understand if you're in some podunk town somewhere and it ain't possible, you can always use water. It works just fine, especially for this recipe. I like coconuts because they're a little bit sweeter, but you'll have to find coconuts at your local Asian market if you have one. They're notoriously known for having the coconuts more often than not. I'm going to leave the fat out on this one, but I would suggest if you're sitting at home and you're not making a video and you've got time, go ahead and cut those open and put the fat in. Real good for this smoothie. Then I've got some figs, okay? So and these are off the chart figs. I mean, they're just unreal. How delicious they are. They're locally grown here in Washington, so it is fig season, my friends. I'll probably rip these in half. And then go out and get yourself some figs, because I know they're a little expensive, so treat yourself, because they're really good for a lot of different, they're just really good for your body. You know, they're really good for men and their virility, so check out some figs. I'm going to save a couple of these for Krista and I to eat one with our smoothie. Then I've got some bananas here, which are super duper perfectly ripe. Okay, and then we're going to have, as soon as I do this up here and make a smoothie, we're going to chat today about a couple of things that are kind of reoccurring, and so I'm going to try and address this now so we can nip it in the bud. So let's talk about the slow and steady. People go raw foods and then they get some stress in their life and then they go back to cooked foods. Look, this isn't an all or nothing thing. My advice to everyone is to just add as much raw food as you can and not to worry about it. Everyone's got different personalities and there's a lot of different kinds of suggestions. Some people say go 100% raw. That's the only way you'll be able to do it. Personally, I think you have to make your own decision, but as someone who could be construed as a teacher, I would say, you know, depending on who you are, just if you're just starting out, shoot for 80% raw foods, because what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of stuff, crap to deal with. I want to encourage everyone to get ready to deal with your crap. And, you know, you got to be 100% responsible for your life if you want to be a co-creator. You know, you've just got to be totally responsible for everything you think, everything you feel, and everything you do, you know, and then you can begin to get into that place of power. I want to encourage everyone to just go slow and steady. Wins this raw food race. You know, there's a lot of different advice out there, and I understand. The main thing is just to keep eating more fruits and vegetables. You don't have to be 100% raw or nothing. You know what I mean? Just eat as much raw food as you can, and if you freak out and you end up at Denny's or whatever, just realize that I have been there and I've done it, and there's no way that anyone out there can possibly match the binges that I've been on. There's just no way you could do it. I don't care who you are and how many bags of Doritos you think you're going to eat. You haven't even come close to the trips that I've been on, okay? We're talking, I'm not even going to go there. I'll let you use your imagination. And you'd be like, how in the hell can you get that much food in there? Because it was the emotional stuff. And I continued to expand spiritually. I had to educate myself spiritually. I had to continually recontextualize life so that I didn't get stressed out all the time. And it took me a while to become 100% raw food. It's 9 years. And now I am 100% raw food at this time. I'm not militant. I don't put pressure on myself. I'm not a dogmatist. And I don't live by any preconceived ideals, okay? So just take it easy, slow and steady. If you're starting out, just shoot for 80% and relax, okay? Educate yourself and keep growing. The other thing I wanted to talk about was people are like, I'm going raw foods and I'm supposed to get this energy. You got to understand, you've been on stimulating foods all your life with chemicals and concentrated everything and the coffee and the taste stimulators and the chemicals and the heaviness and the fattiness of it all has kept you pumped up. The meat, it's got adrenaline in it. That's why people have adrenal weaknesses. I might have to address this a little more later because I'll go quick, because adrenal weaknesses. You know, I mean, everybody eats the adrenaline from the animals, and then uh, why would your body need to create any more adrenaline? Why would your body need to create adrenaline if you're getting it from an external source? That's right. So your adrenals shut down. Everybody's adrenals shut down. Plus, this whole society runs on fear anyways, and the adrenals are always going. It's been an amazing transformation for me to go from a fear-based mentality, which I spent my whole life there, and only in the last couple of years have I pulled myself out of that, and I'm coming at it from a love-motivated motivated from love, and it's a lot different. It's a lot different because you just aren't afraid anymore, and so it's a change of life. You go from a fear-based to a love-based motivation, and there's quite a bit of a transition period in there. So again, slow and steady. Keep going. The only thing that I really had ever going for me, and that's the honest to God's truth, is my commitment to this and my perseverance, and that's how I ended up where I am, to be able to be like 100% raw, totally healthy dude who's, who knows what's going to come up next for me to deal with, but I'm ready for it, and I'm looking forward to it. Dealing with my crap so I can dig another deeper layer into my true self and become more illuminated with life energy. Okay? So let's remember here that you are on nature's schedule. So when you're switching over from the regular stuff, whatever your trip is, you've got to realize that we've all been pumped up. And now you're going raw foods and you're like tired all the time. It's going to take some time. You're going to have to clean out your body, clean out the cells so that they can function again. And that is not going to happen overnight. You're not just going to start eating raw foods and then a month later you're going to be flapping your wings like a bird. It's just not going to happen like that. It's taken us our whole lives, no matter how old you are, to get where you are, and it's going to take some time. But just, I encourage you to keep on going, because if you do this, you will be able to, 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now, you'll be glad you did, because you'll be ripped like the Dan, you'll be having hella energy, and you'll be going down the raw food path and taking care of yourself will be the smartest thing you ever did. Okay, so thanks a lot for letting me share that with you. There's another thing I wanted to share. A friend of mine, David Klein from Vibrance Magazine, asked me if I would share his magazine with you. And the reason why I agreed to do that is because years ago I used to really look forward to getting that magazine in printed form. He's gone digital now, and I remember that magazine sometimes was my only friend, because I would read the books by Norman Walker and Paul Bragg and everything, and nobody was living like that, man. There's been more and more, and so I'd get this magazine, and I'd be like, okay, I'm sane. Okay, the raw vegan thing makes sense. So it was called Living Nutrition at that time in printed form, and I really looked forward to it. And then Dave got a hold of me and said, "Hey Dan, would you do this magazine? Would you, share my magazine with your friends on YouTube?" And I was like, "Sure, Dave." And then he sent me a couple of the digital copies, and I got to tell you, I really think he's done a great job. I read in one of the magazines in digital form, and it was really great and easy to read. And there's some great articles in there about raw athletes. There was an excellent article on rock dust, which I found particularly interesting in my case, since the garden didn't do that great this year. He has a nice section in there about our comfort foods and then a raw equivalent. So I thought that was ingenious, Dave. So thanks a lot for that. So yeah, I just wanted to share Vibrance Magazine. The link is up over here in the info section. So do me a favor, would you? Check that out. And if you find it to be interesting, please subscribe to that magazine, because it's a really excellent magazine, and I think the intention is really good, and it can keep you motivated. I know it kept me motivated during the tough times, and I'd always look forward to that magazine, and I'd be like, where is it, where is it? So when Dave asked me to do that, I was like, no problem, bro. Right on. So thanks a lot for checking that out for me, guys. I didn't get to do the smoothie, but check this out. You're going to love it. This is a great smoothie. And thanks a lot for joining the Life Regenerator. Subscribe on YouTube, friend me on Facebook, and stay in touch, my friends. Peace.